We've all tackled projects from IKEA, right? Instructions in Swedish hieroglyphics, parts you swear are missing. Now imagine building something way more important than a bookshelf. Imagine building a sacred space, a direct line to the Almighty. That's Exodus 38 in a nutshell. After the golden calf debacle, things got real. God, through Moses, laid out plans for the tabernacle, his temporary crib. This wasn't just about hammers and nails, it was about atonement, about coming back to the big guy after a major screw-up. Exodus 38 dives into the nitty-gritty of three key pieces: the altar, the basin, and the courtyard. These weren't just structures, they were symbols, built with sweat and prayer. Picture this, a bronze altar, 5 cubits by 5, rising from the desert floor. This wasn't some rinky-dink barbecue pit, this was the meeting point between humanity and the divine. Here, the Israelites offered up their best animals as sacrifices. Smoke curled skyward, carrying their prayers and repentance. It was raw, it was real, it was the Old Testament way of saying, "We messed up, please forgive us." The bronze itself spoke volumes. Bronze, an alloy of copper and tin, was tough stuff. It could take the heat, literally, symbolizing the enduring nature of God's covenant with his people. But there's more to this bronze beast than meets the eye. See, the altar wasn't just about throwing some meat on the fire, it represented a spiritual transaction. The animals' lives, given in place of the people's sins, pointed towards a bigger sacrifice to come. Yeah, we're talking about Jesus. This bronze box in the desert, it foreshadowed the ultimate act of love and redemption. Next up, the bronze basin. Now before you picture a birdbath, think bigger. This thing was huge, filled with water for the priests to wash their hands and feet. Seems simple, right? But in this context, cleanliness was next to godliness. Before approaching the holy, the priests had to purify themselves. It was a powerful reminder. You don't come before God dirty, not just physically, but spiritually too. Every splash of water was a symbolic washing away of sin and imperfection. And get this, the basin was made from the bronze mirrors of the women. These weren't your compact mirrors, these were serious pieces of bronze, polished to reflect light. The women, in a truly humbling act, donated them to be melted down. Their sacrifice, their willingness to give up something precious, added another layer of meaning to the basin. It became a testament to the power of communal worship, of everyone chipping in to build something bigger than themselves. Now let's step back and check out the courtyard. This wasn't just a fence around the tabernacle, it was a transition space, a buffer zone between the ordinary and the sacred. Think of it as a decompression chamber, a place to prepare your heart and mind. The courtyard was enclosed by fine linen curtains woven with incredible skill and artistry. These weren't just some sheets strung up, they represented the separation between the holy and the profane. Imagine the hours, the days, the weeks that went into weaving those curtains. Every thread, every knot was a testament to the Israelites' dedication. It was a labor of love, a tangible expression of their desire to connect with the divine. And let's not forget the symbolism woven into the fabric itself. Linen, made from flax, represented purity and righteousness. The courtyard, enclosed by these meticulously crafted curtains, became a space set apart, consecrated for worship and communion with God. If you enjoyed this journey through the sacred spaces of Exodus, please like, comment, and subscribe. Stay connected as we continue to explore the Bible together.